So hello guys, welcome to Data Science Simplified. As you all know that we are working on project that is nothing but Swiggy delivery time prediction. And if we talk about, then we are done with this much cleaning. Here you can see what we did earlier. We renamed the column name to lowercase, and then we drop the column ID. Then we drop all the rows where the rider age was below 18 and the rating was 6. Then we replace the nan with the actual nan values. Then we rename the column name just to avoid any inconsistencies. And then we create a column that is nothing but city name. And then we convert the age, column age from data type object to float. And we did the same for rating as well. And on the top of this two column restaurant latitude and longitude, what we did is that we applied a method that is nothing but absolute. Why we did so, we have already discussed, but I really want to tell you guys what happened in these two columns. The values were negative, but we can't have those values in negative. We want them in positive, so that's why we apply absolute function or method. Okay, so basically if I will look over here, then we are done with this much cleaning. If I will talk about, and further we will start doing cleaning after this column, this many columns. Okay, this much columns or many columns, but I'm not gonna convert these three column from object to date time feature. Okay, why I did so, why will I do so? Because you know that if I will convert this column which is from object to date time and export it as CSV or whatever it may be, then whenever we will read somewhere, at that time what will happen, these three columns will converted back to its object. So I have to repeat the same step for these three columns again when I will be doing feature engineering. So what I will do that whenever I will be doing feature engineering, at that time we will call transformer, and under the hood these all three columns will be converted back to date time. So I'm gonna do this all for these three columns while doing feature engineering. So I hope you guys understood it. And after that, if you will look over the weather column, so what we wanna do is that we want to do cleaning after this weather column. Okay, so I have written the code before, because writing while recording takes a lot of time, and what happens that videos get longer, so I have decided to write it before. So don't worry guys, I will teach each and everything that is important over here. And if you want me to write all this code here while recording at that time, then please comment. Okay, so I comment all the statement below this, so that I want to tell you guys what I'm doing uh, step by step. So first thing, I want to access this column weather condition and want to see what this value, what is the value inside this column, inside this weather condition column. So what I did, I will execute. So what I do, I will execute this one, and you can see, look over here, there are there are there are values something like condition sunny, condition stormy. So what does it mean? That this is a kind of unwanted things. Conditions is associated with the value that I want, I mean to say. So what will I do? I will replace this condition with the empty string, so that we can get what the actual values that we want to get, that is sunny, stormy, sandstorm, sunny, cloudy, windy, whatever. Okay, so what will I do? I will just do this, I will just uncomment this. And what I'm doing, I am using str, because you know that I want to access what this column and weather condition, this is the data type of this column is nothing but string, so I am using here str. Okay, str accessor. And what we want to replace this conditions. Here you can see this condition. Here we write conditions, and after that what we want to replace with. So this is nothing but empty. So what it will do that, it will remove the condition, it will remove the conditions from these values. For every values where the condition is present, it will remove. So here you can see when I execute, I got sunny, stormy, sandstorm, sunny, cloudy, windy. So this is a kind of values that we got. And after that, if I will try to know how many unique values or unique categories are there in this column. So what I will do, I will just uncomment this. Why do I want to check how many unique values are unique categories are there? Because we want to check if there is any kind of inconsistency in the data or not. So I will just execute this one and look over here. So we are getting this many categories. Okay, so for each category, before each categories, there is some kind of space, empty space. So what we want is that we want to, this is a kind of unnecessary things. We don't need this kind of things. Behind the scene, model will get confused by this. If it will see some kind of empty space or extra space. Okay, so what will I do? I will strip. I will, on the top of this, I will call this strip function. What a strip function does, it removes the leading and trial space. So here you can see over here there is a leading space, and after executing this statement, this leading space will got removed. So I'm just executing this one, and see here, there is no any leading space, there is no any leading space. And one thing I want to tell you guys, here you can see the first letter is like capital for this word sunny, same for others as well. So what I want is that I want to make the letter s or first letter in the lowercase, even each and every letter inside a word, in a word, in lowercase, because we want to make them consistent. Or for consistency, what we do, we uh, take it as uppercase, make it as uppercase or lowercase. So what I'm gonna do over here, I'm gonna make all these values in lowercase. So for this I will call lower function. And as I already told you that we are accessing what, a string column, a string values inside this column is string. So what will I be using over here? Str. Okay, and after that, if I will execute, you can see over here all the values inside this inverted comma or categories uh, become lowercase. And one thing, if you will notice guys, here you can see that there is a nan, but it is like you can see it is like string values. So what will we do? We will replace this string with the actual nan values. So this is a kind of a string encoded, and we don't want them because we want to fill them later. So that's why we will fill with an null values, with the null values. So I am just writing over here dot replace nan np and what we want to replace with np dot nan. So later we can fill those values, whatever techniques or method that we want to apply for filling. Okay, so that's why I'm filling with null values. I hope you got it. The next thing that you might ask, like, okay, so why you haven't used .str over here? So look guys, this is a kind of np.nan is a kind of float, and here uh, replace, I am replacing. So when we replace text or a string with a string, at that time we use str. But right now we are replacing np.nan, that is actually a float. Okay, we are replacing a string nan with the float values np.nan. So np.nan, the actual data type for this is just float, I mean to say. So we are replacing nan string with the float, so that's why it we are not using .str over here. Okay, I hope you got it. So the same thing, if I will tell you the same thing that I'm gonna apply over here in the, you know, that whatever we have written inside this function data cleaning, I'm gonna apply all this whatever we talked inside this function that we have made. So what will I do over here? I'm just I'm just gonna write and come back to you so that it won't take much of your time. So whatever that we did in above, that whatever we did above, I am gonna implement this over here, and I have implemented. Okay, so what we did, we write weather condition, and look over here guys, I'm again telling you, here I am using a sign function. Here you can see I am using a sign function, and after that uh, taking comma, I am writing all those we want to modify, all those column that we want to modify. So here I want to modify the column weather condition, so that's why I am writing inside this assign function. Here you can see, and let me make you clear guys, if whenever we try to modify the column or want to create a column, at that time we basically use assign, or whenever we want to change the data type as well for a particular column. Okay, so at that time we use assign. So over here what we are basically doing over here, we are accessing this weather column, and then we want to replace this condition with the actual nan values. Okay, actual with empty value, sorry, with empty string. Okay, so what we are doing, we are doing some kind of modification over the data's this column values. So this is a kind of modification, so we can consider this that key this weather column has been modified. So that's why I have been writing over here inside this assign column. I hope you got it. And after that we try to strip, and then we try to lower all the values inside this column, as I have already told you above. And here you can see why we use lambda, because inside assign method what we do, we use lambda function. Lambda function is a kind of anonymous function where we write, you know, some kind of anonymous function like so basically what it does is that it passes the current state of the data frame. So here you can see what does this current state of the data frame mean. So here you can see I have done this much modification over the data set. We first rename the column and drop the column ID, and then we drop some rows based on some conditions, and then we rename the column and created this city name. Then we create then we modify the column nothing but age. Then we did all this. So we want those data set on which all this modification has been implemented, and we want that data set to be passed here. Okay, we want that data set to be passed here. I am writing, and if we talk about df, so basically I want to pass frame this data frame inside this lambda function. That is what I mean by current state of the data frame. Okay, and basically as input I mean to say. Okay, and this df function, df underscore, is nothing but variable that we want to have. We can have anything that you want, like we can write here x. I have written df because I want to show like this is a kind of data frame, so that's why I have written over here df. Y underscore, because you know that df is the original data frame, and I want to show some modification on this data, so that's why I have written df underscore. You can write whatever you want, but one thing you have to know, that you have to make sure that the data that we passed, the data set we passed inside this lambda function is nothing but the current state of the data frame. All the modification that we have applied before this step, we want those modified data frame as an input, and on the top of it we want to access this column, and then we try to replace the conditions with the empty strings. Okay, and then on the top of whatever the value as output we got, on the top of it we apply strip function, lower function, as we have already talked. So I hope you got it. So now we are done with this weather column as well. Until now we are done with this. Okay, and what we'll be doing over here, we will be cleaning this all these columns. So you can see over here most of the columns are object data type, but we will convert few data types to, integer or float, whatever we can say. We are gonna look whenever we have been doing. Okay, so we try to fetch which column is object data types. So we got to know that this many columns that we have, we need to fix this. We need to have look over the values inside this, so that we can fix whatever there is a mistake or typo, anything error that is needed fixed before training the model, so that model trained the trained model perform well. Okay, so road traffic density, these all columns are object data types, and we need to convert. Okay, we need to convert, we need to modify, not convert the data type, because these all columns will be object data type. What we need to do is that we have to do some modification, whatever there is a kind of modification needed in these all values inside this column. So what I did for call in calls to check, so I am looping through this list. So first time we create the variable call, and we want to loop this call through this list. So when this will execute for the very first time, then this will point road traffic density, and it will fetch inside this column df road traffic density, because we put road traffic density in place of call, and on the top of it we will be finding unique. So we got this. So here you can see for this column we got high, jam, low, medium, nan. For this column as well, type of order. So on the top of it we apply this unique method, and we got to know this. Same for all those three. We got this and this. So I hope you got it. And why we did so? Because we want to know what value it consists, this column consists, and what kind of cleaning we have to perform. So here you can see the same thing that we have did earlier. Right now there is a some extra space uh, at the trailing side, at the end point, I mean to say. So what I will do, I will do the same thing. On the top of this column we will apply a strip function, we can say, and then we make it lower to make the values inside this column consistent. Okay, so you already got it, I think. One thing I want to tell you guys, here you can see nan, a string nan, that is not the actual values. So I'm gonna fill this. But one thing I want to tell you, we are already done with this, because here you can see we replace the nan, the same string nan with the actual nan values. So we are not gonna look over this again. Okay, we are not fixing this column, these values nan, I mean to say, because we already have included in the pipeline of data cleaning. Okay, so what we'll be doing over here, we are not gonna do it manually. Whatever I showed for this condition, weather condition column, I'm gonna do, or I'm gonna include these all steps inside this cleaning pipeline directly, because this is really easy. Okay, so guys, what I am telling you, listen carefully. All these columns have the same problem. For traffic we have analyzed at the same time when we got to know each columns that we have they have the same problem. So I executed the same thing and I write the same code for each and every column that we have, that we analyzed. Okay, these 5 columns we have analyzed before, and we got that all these columns have the same problem. There is a trailing a space issues, and you know the first letter of all these values, all these categories was uh, sorry, uppercase. I forgot it. Sometimes it happens to me. So so I did the same thing. I access this traffic column. We pass the lambda because we want the current state of the data frame, and we access this traffic column. Then on the top of it we apply dot strip function, dot lower function. We use dot str because we are accessing this as object column. We done the same for this strip, lower, str, lambda. So we are doing the same thing. I don't think that we need to explain all this to you all. So I will execute this code, and this code, so you can see over here we are getting this data frame. Okay, we are getting this data frame, and I want to see whatever the modification we have done, is it reflecting on the current data set, current data frame on this column. Okay, so what we did over here, that we made the we made a list. Okay, we create a list, and we defined all the functions, sorry, we defined all the column names that we have analyzed before, and the modification that we have done over them. And on the top of and inside this column, sorry, not inside this, outside, what we did is that we call this data cleaning function. Here you can see here also I have called this data cleaning df, data cleaning function, and passing the data frame, original data frame, and here we have created this function. So basically what I am going to do is that, what I am doing over here is that uh, I am calling this function that we have mentioned above, and on the top of it, what we are passing as an input, that is nothing but original data frame df, and whatever it is returning, here you can see whatever this function is returning, data cleaning, whatever this function is returning, because we have written return. Okay, so whatever it is returning, okay, so we are catching it inside this variable clean df. And what we are doing over here, we are looping through this column, that is nothing but calls, and it will this call, and we create a variable this call, and this call will manually point this weather condition, then this traffic, then this type of the order, then this vehicle condition, then festival, then city. And whenever it will call this will whenever it will point this weather condition, then it will filter out this column, okay, from the entire column, and on the top of it, it will find out the unique categories. So if I will execute, then you will see the output. So here you can see there was some trailing space over here. Right now it is not there. Here you can see the first column, which the first letter of this word used to be capital. Right now it is in lowercase. And you can see here nan. Before it was used to be a string encoded, or I mean to say a string nan, but right now it is actually nan values. It look like this. So try to imagine this nan or null value look like this inside the data frame. Okay, so we have already solved all these problems related to this columns. Okay, so guys, this is what I want to tell you. This is not the optimized code. This is not the optimized code, because I have repeating the same step for all these 5 columns that we can do by using only one steps or two steps. So I'm not teaching you all those optimized code because it was quite complex, so that's why I decided to quit and I tried to execute this one. So I hope you got it. But further, when will I take the session on .assign method, at that time I will teach you all those that I have delayed for. Okay, so guys, we are left with these three columns, that is nothing but multiple deliveries. Here you can see multiple deliveries, and the second one is vehicle condition, here you can see, and the third one is time taken in minute. Okay, so we are left with these three columns. So I'm gonna show you how we will be doing cleaning for all these columns. Okay, so first we will start with this vehicle condition. So look guys, what I try to do is that I try to access this column vehicle condition to analyze the value, what value it consists inside this column. So I got to know that the data type is integer, so it is perfectly fine for us. We don't need to convert the data type for this column. And after that we try to find it out how many values inside this column, and it is a, this is a kind of, float, sorry, category. This is a kind of category column, because if you will try to find out unique values, then you will find out that there is four unique values, 0 1 2 3. So it feels like category. So what we can do over here, we can convert this column to category, or we can or we can leave this as it is. So I will take the decision. Oh, sorry, basically what will I do, I will leave this as it is. I don't think that it needed any changes over here. So I think guys, this is it from my side right now, because I think the video is getting too long. And one thing I want to tell you, add some knowledge, and if you really like, then please do subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon so I can get the motivation. Okay, this is from my side. That's it. Bye.